Hi, my name is John Daniel. I teach the trumpet at Lawrence Conservatory at Lawrence University in Appleton, Wisconsin. And I've written a trumpet method. It's called Special Studies for Trumpet. You can find it at johndanieltrumpet.com. And this little lesson is going to be from a section I entitled Flexibility. And normally when we talk about flexibility, we're referring to lip slurs. And that's certainly part of what we'll talk about today, but not all of what we want to talk about. When I use the word flexibility, I'm thinking in terms of being able to reach all the notes from one embouchure position, one basic setting, and learning how to create a variety of sounds without a tremendous amount of external motion. When we first learn how to play the trumpet, we don't have any muscle strength. So no matter how perfectly we form our embouchure, if we have a trumpet teacher there from day one and he says do this, that, and the other thing, we still don't have any muscle structure to maintain it. So things are going to tend to bop around a lot on us. Specifically what that means is to play lower notes, we're going to open our mouth a lot. We're going to drop our jaw, which is something obviously you would have to do on a lower brass instrument. But the trumpet is basically a treble clef instrument. We don't really need to drop our jaw very far, if at all. And then we close the aperture primarily with pressure, just by smashing the lips together with mouthpiece pressure. And that's basically how we learn how to play when we're first starting out in 5th grade, 6th grade. And so as we get better, we want to employ better means, more economical means of getting around the trumpet. We want to develop an economy of technique that doesn't involve opening and closing our mouths and smashing, because those create a variety of sound effects. The low notes sound like low notes, the high notes sound like high notes, strained and so forth, and it's difficult to get from one register to the other smoothly when we play that way. So we start this re-education of the embouchure with note bendings, and I think a lot of people have done note bends without really exploring everything about them, why we could do them. But essentially what happens when we bend a note is the lips inside the mouthpiece are going to open up, in most cases unroll slightly, especially the bottom lip starts to function like a drawbridge. So when we do these, you might want to use a mirror. You shouldn't see a lot of external motion. You shouldn't see the face muscles relax to bend the note. You shouldn't see the jaw drop. You'll see maybe a little bit of flexing or positioning going on. But for the most part, there's not much to see. The motion happens inside the rim. So the half-step note bend, we need the first thing to do is learn how to do that all over the horn. With some control. Then, what I like to do is apply the note bending technique to the way we actually play the trumpet. So it's not just an exercise we do and wonder why we did it. So I have a whole series of exercises that explore how far you need to bend a note in order to minimize the amount of activity or motion required to go between partials. So for this partial, G down to low C, we can drop our jaw to hit those notes, or we could bend the G as far as possible. You'll bend it to the E, and as you try to bend it further, the C will interrupt what you're doing. And that's the least amount of motion necessary to get to low C. You might have to bend just a little bit more to get that low C to sound exactly the way you want it to. This is my lower lip. You can go through all 7 vowel positions that way. work our way up the overtone series, we're not going to be able to bend as far. So from third space C down to G, we can bend a whole step to B flat. As you try to bend further, the G will interrupt what you're doing. You'll have to bend your lip, pout just a little bit more to get the low G to sound the way you want it. You get the notes close together, and then your lip trills and shakes and all that good stuff are more accessible. We'll do this a little bit higher. E, you can also bend down a whole step. That gets those notes as close together as they're going to be and makes lip trilling easier. And G, you can only bend a half step. G, you can bend to F sharp. That sort of thing. So if you put all of these together, you could play a chord. That's the least amount of motion physically from our jaw or from pressure, and is doing as much as possible inside the rim of the mouthpiece to bring the G and the low C as close together as possible. And then things can become very light and very easy and facile. My name is John Daniel. I'm teaching out of Special Studies for Trumpet, and you can find it at johndanieltrumpet.com. Thank you very much.